Grief doesn't announce itself. It just sits beside you, waiting to be noticed. The servo lights were clinical, cheap, fluorescent bouncing off linoleum, humming like a migraine. I'd just filled up, dragging my carcass from pump to counter, keys in one hand, wallet barely remembered in the other. Paulie was already inside. I didn't register him at first. Just another shape near the bain-marie, staring down at the pale, wrinkled remains of meat-like tubes soaking in lukewarm sweat. He clocked me before I got to the counter. "Jesus, you all right?" It wasn't said kindly. Not unkindly either, just neutral. Like spotting a dent in someone else's car. A question shaped more by obligation than concern. The kind of line people say because silence feels wrong. I blinked at him. Tried to nod. Failed. "Just paid?" I croaked. "Yeah. Petrol and a lift. You?" "Pump 4. He moved aside. I tapped my card. The machine chirped approval, and then neither of us moved. We were two shadows cast by a vending machine light, standing in front of a case of dying food. The bain-marie hummed. One of the hot dogs shifted slightly in its film of grease. It looked like something trying to die properly, but being kept just alive enough to twitch. "You look like shit," he said eventually. Flat, observational. I nodded. "He died last week." Paulie didn't ask who. He didn't need to. Everyone who mattered already knew. The kind of news that moves faster than speech. "Oh, jeez," he muttered. Then, after a moment, quieter. "Yeah, that'll do it." He scratched at his eyebrow, looked down at the food as if hoping it might offer a different answer. "I lost my brother 3 years back," he said. "Didn't cope well." The words came out like he'd practiced them, like they'd been in storage. I didn't respond, not out of coldness, but because I didn't know how to meet grief like that with anything resembling gratitude. He exhaled through his nose, then added, "You've got to ration it." "Sorry?" "The grief, the stories. Don't go talking to everyone who knew him, not all at once. You'll burn through it all too fast. Blow the whole thing open and there'll be nothing left." I turned slightly towards him. This was new. Paulie wasn't the type to offer unsolicited wisdom. He was a Monday through Friday pub guy. Footy tips, sarcastic texts, bad puns. "You think I'm trying to..." "You will," he said, cutting me off, but not rudely. "It's instinct. You want more of him, right? More details, more scraps. Like he's still leaking out there in the world of little bursts. So you chase it. Anyone who brushed past him becomes a dealer." There was a horrible kind of accuracy to it. My mouth went dry. "It's not even about the stories themselves," he continued, now staring through the hot dogs like they were projecting screens. "It's about the feeling you get when you hear something new, something you didn't know. Like finding a new photo in a dead man's jacket. You hold it, you turn it over. You convince yourself you're closer to him again. He tapped the bain-marie glass. One of the dogs rolled, sluggishly. The fat around it congealing into shapes that look like scars. But it runs out. And when it does, you start improvising. Third-hand pub gossip. Half memories. You start pretending they're real. Filling in the blanks with your own imagination. You can trick the eye. You can trick the body even. But not the part of you that needs it to mean something. That part knows it's a knockoff. He scratched at his chin like he was trying to dig out the next sentence. You've got to stagger it. 1 person a week. Maybe less. You chase too many ghosts too fast, you'll burn your lungs out. I looked at him. Really looked. There was no sermon in his face. Just tired data. Like someone who had run the experiment himself. Stagger? I echoed. Not because I didn't understand, but because I needed to hear him explain it. He nodded slowly. It's shooting dope without a needle. Same ritual. Same crash. Just quieter. Cleaner. More socially acceptable. Less blood. More longing. And there it was. The thing I didn't want to hear, said plainly. Grief as addiction. Nostalgia as narcotic. Love repackaged as withdrawal. I didn't laugh, but something inside me cracked, just a little. Paulie checked his phone, like the moment had timed out. Anyway, he said, just take it slow. Trust me. Then he turned and walked out. No goodbye, no handshake, just gone. I stood there a few minutes longer. The servo hummed. The hot dogs kept sweating. One of them twitched as the heat coil reset. They weren't hot, just preserved, suspended in artificial light, held in stasis long after anyone wanted them. I left. I didn't buy anything. I thought about Paulie every day that week. He was right. I'd already made a list. Names in my phone. People who might have something, a voice message, a shared joke, anything. I was ready to binge. I deleted half of them. I started small. His old housemate told me he used to microwave Milo instead of using hot water. He said it made it thicker. A dumb story, but it landed like a syringe to the soul. I sat with that for 2 days. I imagined him in the kitchen, late, shirtless, microwave humming. That tiny domestic ghost made my ribs crack open. Like shooting dope without a needle. Just proximity to the past. A phantom rush. Then it wore off. Cold, flat, dead air. I tried to force the high. I messaged the guy from school I hadn't spoken to since 2011. He sent back a thumbs up and said, "Yeah man, sorry to hear." He was chill. That was it. I saved the message anyway. By week 4, I was prowling Facebook like a stalker, pulling threads, collecting micro glimpses. Some guy from TAFE said he once lent him a lighter. That was it. That was the whole story. I saved it. I treated it like a relic. That's when I knew Paulie had nailed it. I was gone. Hooked. Not on grief, but on contact. on proximity, on the idea of him being not quite dead if I could still mine fresh material. Every new scrap felt like a demo track from a dead band, a long-lost B-side, unreleased but real. That's all I needed. You ration it. You tell yourself it's healthy. But it's not therapy. It's an emotional methadone program. It's grief management through strategic hallucination. Some stories hit harder. One of his exes said he used to cry at dog food ads. That floored me. That broke me open sideways. I wanted to throw up and laugh at the same time. I looped the voicemail he left me a couple of years ago. Something about needing a lift. He kept saying Kaylee instead of Kale. I played it 10 times. I tried to decipher tone, try to imagine his facial expressions as he said the words. I stared into that voice like it was a portal. It gave me 3 hours of peace. Then it collapsed. The silence after felt like detox. You think you're coping. You think you're processing. But really, you're just licking the spoon. Imagining the burn. One night, I hovered over a contact. His ex. We hadn't spoken in over 7 years. Not since a birthday party where I think I accused her of drinking all the good wine. Or maybe she accused me. I don't know what I thought I was even going to say. Hey, remember that guy we both loved in different ways? Got any leftovers? My thumb hovered over the call button for maybe 20 seconds. And then I put the phone down. I wasn't ready to hear her voice. I wasn't ready for what she might say, or worse, what she wouldn't. I told myself it was smart, tactical, that I'd come back to it later, but I knew I wouldn't. And that night, I forgot the sound of his laugh. Then the rot sets in. One day you say it out loud. I haven't really seen him in months anyway. You say it like it makes it hurt less. Like time is insulation. Like absence is inoculation. It's not. That's the coma stage. He's not here. Not dead. Just absent. In a tube somewhere. Your brain keeping him alive like a ventilator with low battery. And you start to believe it's progress. But it's not healing. It's dulling. It's thinning the concentrate until you forget what it used to taste like. You don't honor the memory. You don't protect the legacy. You just dilute it. Quietly. Shamefully. Because that's what survival is. Not closure. Just dosage. And one day you wake up and realize you've run out. You're still alive. But you're clean now. And it doesn't feel like victory. It feels like forgetting. And forgetting feels worse than the grief ever did. Worse than the silence. Worse than the weight. It's like sniffing the hoodie of someone who hasn't been back in months. Faint traces of scent, but mostly dust. Worse than that twitch of a fake hot dog behind a glass pane at 2 a.m, trying to pass itself off as alive. If you've made it this far, I've got more content you might enjoy. Hit the like button if you found this interesting, and take a look at the videos on your screen for more. Trust me, you won't want to miss them.